we are fully aware of how dependent we are on this source. Water is that one unifying thing. Without it, none of us could do absolutely anything.
But Lord knows, human beings are capable of the darndest things. I didn't grow up in agriculture. I actually went to university at New York University for film and television production. You know, I feel like it was sort of the thing of the time for people in their 20s to end up on a farm after college. Things just snowballed from there.
Ultimately, part of my real connection to the land when I was young was always having things like chickens at our house for eggs. Anytime things got really, really hard and like you're sad and you're gonna get evicted from your house, you just go outside and hang out with the chickens. And so I had this one named Tobias that I named, and he would follow me to school. How can you be upset when there's like this chicken that loves you so much? But I'd always grown up with these stories of like growing up on a farm, so I was kind of familiar with it, but it was never something that I thought I would end up doing.
I never had in my mind that I was going to be a farmer, that's for sure. When I came here, everything changed. I'm from Guatemala. I moved to New Mexico, visiting a family. I took a lot of pictures of my family in Guatemala, so my mission here in New Mexico was come and meet my aunt and show her those pictures of her family, work a couple weeks or a couple months to make enough money to get my plane ticket and go back to Guatemala. That was my plans.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I initially got interested in farming probably when I was 21, I think. I was in college, and one of the biggest areas that I saw within these classes that had a lot of these really inherent problems that were solvable was agriculture. Because if you look at kind of the three pillars of sustainability, you have your social, your economic, and then your environmental pillars. Farming can kind of hit all of those things.
I remember when I put the first seed of carrots on the ground, I didn't believe that from that little tiny seed is gonna grow a huge carrot later. It's like magic there, yeah.
Unfortunately, farmers are getting old. Average age is over 60 now, and a lot of land is going to transfer hands in the next 20 years. A lot of land is going to end up being developed. And there's a lot of challenges that kind of all young farmers face. When you get into farming, you want your own land.
Land is expensive, and those prices are just going up.
And then you need lots of money for seeds and infrastructure, and you might need to buy a tractor, and you might need some implements. And we need water.
One of the biggest phrases here is agua es vida, right? Water is life.
Buena sana, buena vida. Healthy water, healthy life, and a healthy living style.
And that's like so real on such a visceral level, especially out here in the arid Southwest.
And if you think about where our water goes, it starts in our mountains, for us anyway, flows into the Mancos River. Mancos River flows down into the San Juan River. San Juan River goes down into the Colorado River, and then from there it flows into the driest parts in the United States.
that's where it really hits me, is when I'm talking with the old timers, you know, like the people who've been out here, who are like, it's never been this challenging. And I've only been farming for 5 years, but in the last 3, I've noticed those effects so much more. The heat's been getting hotter and longer and more sustained. The rain just isn't there like it used to be, or when it is, it's like too much.
I hear from them that before they have water in that ditch every day for the whole year. But little by little, they weren't cutting those days. So I've been farming 6 years over here, and I've been noticing some changes in those acequias. The farmers can decide about when they're gonna have water.
Yeah, so when you're at the butcher and you take a little tag, and the person that gets there before you takes a tag and has an earlier number, and they get their meat first from the butcher. It's the same with water. The people who claimed the right to use that water, when they want their water, they have priority to use it. And the water is not attached to that land. That right can be traded or sold.
We're starting to see all kinds of issues pop up between your major cities and your agricultural users.
Right now, there's a big move to commoditize water. The idea is to buy the land, buy the water, and then you speculate on water for future. The water is not a commodity. Water is a community resource. It's like when you're going to charge for breathing air. No, those all belong to the community. And the community should decide how that water is used.
Three. Oh, that's okay. This is just warm up, right? Yeah.
We both were kind of like the older, out of place 20-somethings with a bunch of college kids, and it's like, and we just kind of caught eyes. It's like, hey, that person doesn't look like they know anyone either.
Doesn't taste any good.
No?
It's really bitter. It's really sour still.
Where people see, oh, things are happening and it's not working, I see huge, huge opportunities. Because we have the land and there's still water, and that ancestral knowledge of how to grow food in a respectful manner is still there.
We're actually recharging groundwater just by irrigating.
We're actually saving water in the long run and making sure that there's more water there for others to use too.
The drip tape is definitely a huge way that we manage our water, so that on those years when we get very little, we can still irrigate. I also grow a lot of indigenous crops. Those varieties that have been grown out here under dryland conditions for a very long time.
We save seed from as much of the crops that we have to try to get them more acclimated to the intense heat and to the less water that we have here in our climate.
You know, we're trying to cover crop, we're trying to rotate animals through our land, we're trying to increase organic matter.
We're not all looking to come here, get our start, and then leave to the next venture. It's like we come here and we plan on staying here, and this is going to be our homes. This is where our families are going to be raised. So it's okay to look at a piece of land that's been neglected and think this is going to take 15 years to really be something. But then once it's at something, that's something that you hope will continue in perpetuity for hundreds more. And you know that it has that possibility since we have that history of hundreds of years in the past to now.